Hey guys, welcome back to Selenium with Java, April 2023 batch, online training session 4. In today's session, you can learn about the conditional statement in Java, where I will cover if else, nested if else, if ladder and switch statement. Then you can learn about the method and constructor. Then you will learn about the wrapper class, date and calendar function. Lastly, you will learn about the exception handling in Java and how to handle the exception with the help of try, catch, block, and finally keyword. So in Java, there are a couple of conditional statements available. So in case suppose you want to verify the expected and the actual result, right? You can use the conditional statement. But primarily for the Selenium, there is a testing framework available where there is a assert class available. With the help of the assert class, I can still validate the expected and the actual result. But the conditional statement in Java are used to control the flow of the program and insert verification point and error handling. Primarily 5 type of conditional statement available in Java: if else if statement, or if else if ladder, nested if else, and switch statement. So if statement in Java is used only to specify a block of Java code to be executed in case condition is met or true. But the drawback is that in case condition is false, then it will not execute it. So that is the reason we can add else part with the if part. So an if statement can be followed by an optional else statement. Else statement is used to specify a block of code to be executed in case condition is not met or fulfilled or false. So let's see how we can go with the if and if else statement. So if I go to the Eclipse, I already created a class for today's session 4. So let's declare some variable, say integer age, right, equal to say 25. Okay, then I can give some condition if. That is the syntax, right? If, then condition, then statement within the bracket. If, what is my condition? Age greater than 18. Okay, so in the real time, you know, in case the age is greater than 18, the person will be called as an adult, right? So what I will be doing it, I will be doing SOISO, right? Person is adult. As and when the person age is greater than 18, he will be considered as an adult. So that is the if statement. So now if you execute your code, so here condition is matching or true, right? So what it will do? It will execute the if part. The person is adult. But what happened in case the condition is not matching? So give it 15. So what happened? Condition is not matched. Then what happened? So in case you still want to execute your code with the help of the if statement only, it will execute nothing, because if will only work in case condition is true or met or fulfilled. But in case condition is not fulfilling or met or true, right, there is nothing will be displayed. So that's the problem. So to handle this part, I can go with the else along with if. So what I want to print out that person is not adult. So in case my condition is matching or fulfilled, it will go for the if part. Otherwise it will go for the else part. So that is the way you can deal with the if else conditional statement in Java. So you could see now person is not adult. Again, if you change, right, to maybe 35 or like 35, so what will happen? Conditional or non conditional match. So first it will check the positive part, right, or true part. In case it is a met or the positive, then your if part will be executed, else, right, the remaining part will be executed, otherwise else part will be executed. So that is the way you can deal with if else part. Now I can go with nested if else, means if else and another if else within the if or else loop. So that is called nested if else. So what I can do, same part I can go with another if else. So let's give. So in case my condition is matching, age is greater than 18, right? Definitely person is adult. But in any of the country, right? So a person can be considered as adult and can cast his vote. But some other age requirement is there in case you want to contest for election, right? Assembly election or the maybe the Lok Sabha election, other stuff, right? MP election. So what I'll do, I will go with another if else. So here I am giving age greater than 25 as per the Indian constituency, right? Age is greater than 80, person can adult, considers adult, and he can have the voter card and he can cast his vote. But in case you want to, right, go for the elections, stand for the election, then he need to minimum age is 25. So what I'll be doing it here, I can go with again that one. I can cut it and then paste it here. If greater than 25% is adult and contest election, right? And within that one I am giving else part also. So if and else within the if or else part. So what I can go do here, I can mention person is adult and cast vote, right, but cannot contest election. Okay. So now let's try to understand here. So in case the outer if is true only, then it will go for the inner if else part. In case outer is true and again if part is true, then it will execute the else if part. In case outer if is true but inner if is false, then it will go for the inner else part. And in case outer if is not matching, it will directly go to the outer else part. So that is the way nested if else will work. Now see, with the same age, if you run it, so age is greater than 80 as well as age is greater than 25. So you could see person is adult and can contest the election. But in case you are giving is 20, so what happened? Outer if part is getting executed, but inner if is not meeting, right? So it will go for the inner else. So it will, you can see the desired output as person can cast the vote but cannot contest the election. So that is the thing is coming. Now similar way, in case the outer if is not getting executed or made true, then automatically control will go to the outer else part. Person is not adult. So that is the way. In the real time also in the Selenium Java program we will be using that, right, if and else part, especially for the framework area. Then there is another conditional statement is if else if ladder or else if statement. So say I am not having only two condition, I am having more than two condition. Then how can I handle it with the help of if else? It cannot be handled with the help of if else or nested if else. In case you are having 4, 5, 8 condition. So what I can do similar way, suppose say in any academic, right, area, suppose the student is studying in the school or college, so he will be getting some marks, right, percentile of the marks, and based on that, right, some grade will be there. Okay, so let's define some variable called integer marks. Say I can give something called maybe 70. Then I can give some condition here if that variable marks greater than equal to 30 ampersand ampersand, I am giving multiple condition, marks less than 45. So what will happen? I can say SO average, student get average grade or grade D. Okay, and within the double quote I need to give it. Next I can go for the other one, so I will be giving else if, else if. So if greater equal to 45 but less than 60, so what I can make, like good get C. So that is the way you can, whatever way you want to do, you can do it. Else if greater than 60 but less than 80, so very good get B. Else if say greater than 80 and it can go till 100. So I am not giving that 100 one, so greater than 80 means it can go till 100. So excellent grade A. Here I can give it B. So that is the primary condition I want to evaluate. But what happen in case student doesn't, right, is not getting 30% mark also below 30%. So I can give that any other value within the else part. So in case these 4 conditions not matching, it will automatically go to the else. Okay, I can print out fail, student got fail and no grade. So definitely no grade. So that is the way I can deal with if else if or called else if statement. If else if ladder or else if statement, that is called. Now if you want to execute it, you could see you will get the desired result. 70 will fall under 60 to 80. So you could see that is coming grade B. Now if you give it 90, it will be falling in the greater than 80. So excellent. Grade A, right? If it is say 40, so what happen? It will 30 to 45 criteria. That is the criteria it will match. So it will go with that grade D average. But in case it is not matching, say 20, so nothing is matching. So it will go to the last else part. So that is the way, right? You can deal with the if else if ladder or else if statement. You could see fail no grade. So these are the primary 4, right? If else statement available: if else, if else if ladder, and nested if else. Apart from that, one more conditional statement available in Java, which is nothing but called switch statement. So a switch statement is almost similar to if else if ladder, but it has some advantage. So switch statements allows a variable to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called as a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each case. The switch statement will work for character, short, integer, long data type. So if else statement, if statement can be used for maybe 5 or 6 different condition, but switch statement you can go for more than that condition. In case there is 10, 12 condition, you can go with switch statement, and you will get some benefit of the switch statement as well. It's pretty much easy to deal with switch statement. So the case value must be unique in nature. It cannot be duplicate. In case of duplicate, it will throw the compile time error. Each case statement can have a break statement, which is optional. When control reaches to the break statement, it jumps the control after the switch statement. If a break statement is not found, it will execute the next case. So you already learned the importance of the break keyword for the different kind of loop: for loop, while loop, do while loop. So in case you was using break and the condition is not matching, the remaining kind of loop statement will not be executed, and it will break out the loop. So similar way also here, it will also work for the switch statement. So let's try to understand. Suppose say some student is starting in the right primary grade. So maybe class 1 to 4 will be there, the primary grade primarily. Then the higher grade will be 5 to 10, and then the like I mean standard 11, standard 12, right? And then college or the BTech, B or B, any kind of stuff. Then the university, that way it will happen. So I want to deal with that particular primary student thing. Okay. So what I will be doing, I will be defining some variable called integer student class. That is the variable name, and I can give some value. So it will only contain 1 to 3 also. Okay. So 1 to 4, 1 2 3 4. So that is the primary grade, you can say. So I will be using switch. So that is the syntax, and here you need to give the variable name. So that is the syntax already there, switch and the expression of the variable, then bracket. So that is the same way I will go, and then here you need to give case value and then statement and the break. So what is the case? Case 1, because I want to go with 1 2 3 4, that is the case. So case 1, then I want to print out something. So student belong to first standard, right? And then I can use the break keyword. Similar way I can go for the other case. In case you want to go for the complete till 10th standard, you can go with. Okay, you could say here case should be always unique. It cannot be duplicate. You could see the error message is coming duplicate case. So what I need to do, I'll be doing it unique. 3 and 4. Student belong to second standard, student belong to third standard, student belong to fourth standard. And then here, just like the else, you need to make default. And you could see, as and when thing is getting matched with the Java keyword, color will get changed because this is the Java keyword. So what default I can do, right? Student, say for the default you no need to make the break. Student does not belong to primary standard, right? Maybe he is lower primary, or maybe the higher primary, or maybe the school, college, or other stuff, right? So that is the way I can deal with the case statement. So now if you want to execute it, so what will happen here? You could see student belong to third standard, right? It is matching with here. Now in case you are going with 1, so it will match with student belongs to 1 standard, right? In case it is a maybe 7 or 8, so it is not matching with any of the case, right? So what will happen? It will go to the default. You could see. Then we mentioned, right, break can be used, but break is optional. But in the real time, we should always break in the any of the switch statement. So let's give it to 2. So what will happen now? It will print you the value called student belong to second standard. But we have used the break. Now let's remove the break. Means I am commenting out, means break is not there. So what will happen here? So output will be definitely displayed. Apart from that, all the remaining other also it will be executed, because there is no break. That is the reason, though condition is matching, case is matching, it will still try to execute the remaining cases as well, because there is no break. I'm not terminating that case statement. So that is the problem. So that is the reason it's better to use the break, so that as and when condition is matching, the remaining code will not be executed. You could see here the matching is happening. So it is getting executed. After that, all the break we have terminated, right? We did not make it. So case 3 also executed, 4 also executed, 5 also executed until the break is there. So in case you just that keep the break here, but it is missing, so it will still execute that part and that part. After that break is there, so it will be terminated. So that is the reason it's always better to use the break, though it is marked as optional. You could see. But in case you remove, add the break, so what will happen? As and when condition is matching, immediately your switch will be excited, okay, and it will not execute the remaining cases. So it will terminate the your switch part. So that is the way you can deal with the switch statement. I have given another example with the help of that character variable, right? You can try with that, like character A, B, C, grade A, B, C, D, and you can make each and every grade that objective, right? Excellent, good, very good, average, and like that. You can try with that as your exercise. Okay, I will take a pause. Any questions? From any of the topic, if else, or nested if else, or switch, or if else if ladder. Is all good, guys? Everyone? Okay. The next one will be the method in Java. So method means I'll be writing once, that is my main objective, and I'll be using them in number of time. So Java method is a set of statements that are grouped together to perform an operation. Whenever user want to perform any operation multiple times, then user will choose the methods. Right? Methods are sometimes known as the functions. Method basically are in Java two type. One is built-in method, that means already available in Java, right? Those are the methods will be available in the Java class or the interface. And one is user-defined method. So built-in method, you already seen the string method, right? If you call the string class, there are a lot of methods like compare to, get the length, check whether it's empty, right? Replace the string, get the substring with the help of the string method. And apart from that, there is a date and time method and a lot of other method, inbuilt method available in Java. And as part of the user-defined method, you can create two type of method. One is method without returning value and method with returning value. Now let's see the user defined method first, because thing already seen, and date and time method I will be covering in today's session. Let's comment it out here. So say here you want to print out something, say hello Java, okay, and you want to execute maybe couple of number of times, 4 times. So you can definitely write it your code and you can execute it your code. So it is giving. But tomorrow, instead of hello Java, your requirement is hello Java world. So what you need to do, you need to go to all your code and you need to update everywhere with that hello Java world. But what happens? You can miss something, and instead of hello Java world you can update something, because you are the manual person, right? By mistake you can do it. So what will happen, right? You will be not be getting the desired result here. You could see, right? Here it is also not proper, here also not proper. So definitely in case your 100 line of code is there, you can miss something. So what I'll do, I'll create a method without return type first. Okay, so let's try to create a method here. So public void say hello Java, that is the method, and here I can give the body. Okay, now let's comment it out all this part. Now I need to call this method 4 times. So what I will do, I will create an object or instance here, obj equal to new class name, right? Then with the help of that object, I will call that method called hello Java dot hello Java. Okay, I will call it for 4 times or 5 times or 10 times, whatever way I want to do it. So what I will do, it everywhere it will print that hello Java world. You could see there is no mismatch at all. So tomorrow again you need to change it to hello Java instead of hello Java world. So what you need to do, you need to go to the method and you need to update to the method. So automatically wherever this method will be called, everywhere your code will be updated automatically. That is the beauty of the method. So method can be called as a reusable component or functions. You could see. Now tomorrow again, right, hello Java, you need to update with suppose say today's date, say 9th April 2023. So what happened, everywhere it will be updated automatically. So there is no failure, there is no flaws, there is no problem at all. Everywhere it will be updated wherever the method is getting called. That is the beauty of the method. Now you already see how to create a method without return type, means return type will be void. Now I can go with other method where I can have some return type. So public, no need to give the return type now. Suppose say I want to add, right? So I can provide some variable, say integer a, I can pass it, and integer b, and here I can declare one more integer called integer c equal to, I want to sum it, or maybe integer d. Okay, then I want to print it or return it, return d, I want to return the value. Now here I need to give the return type because it is not a void. So what is return type? Return type is d, and what is d all about? D is integer. So I need to copy it and I need to paste it here. That is the return type. Now you could see that message gone. So this method will return the integer value. Okay, so what I can do, so I need to print it out, so I need to take help from the SOISO method, otherwise I cannot call it. Print it out, I can definitely execute the code. Then if you give object reference dot, if you call, you could see add method is coming. Whenever it is calling, it will give you the integer value, and that value will print it with the help of the SOISO method, and it is coming from the session 4, and you need to pass 2 argument, right? Suppose say 20 and 30, I can pass it. So that is the way you can sum any n number of times with different variety of the data, say 200 and 300, right? Say 2000 and 3000. So that is the way, right? Same method you can call it different variety of the data. Now you can run it. You could see this is 50, 500 and 5000. Now say, can I create, right, a method with same name? Yeah, it is possible, but you could see in case you are copying the method, it is throwing the error, right? Where error? Method is duplicate. So duplicate method can be there, but it cannot have same return type and same argument pass. So what you need to do? You need to change the argument number, or else you can change the argument data type. So that is called method overloading. So that part anyway it will be covered in the Java Ops concept, but that is the method overloading. What you can do? You can change the data type, or you can change different kind of, right, argument. Instead of 2 argument, I can go with another argument called C, and here I can write sum it. So you could see now error message gone. So same method, same return type, same access modifier can be there, but here your number of argument or the type of argument means type of argument data type. You can change the data type, or you can change the number of argument as well. Now if you call it with the 3 variable, you can also call it. So you can give some other variable, okay, 40. So that will still work because that is the same method available and same operation it will do. It will sum 3 different variable. So this is called method overloading. Same method can be there in the class level, but with different signature. Signature means either changing the data type or changing the number of arguments. So you could see now 20 plus 30 plus 40 equal to 50 is coming. So that is called method. The next one is, you already see, right, the method without returning value and with returning value as well, and you already see the method overloading means same method you can do it, but you can change it either with the help of the, right, method signature. Means either you can go with the different type of argument, or you can change the number of argument, or the type of argument means data type you can do. Instead of integer you can go with double, float, right, other stuff. The next will be constructor. So as of now you already seen method. Method can have the return type, void or any data type. Method name can be anything. It should not be same like that the class name. But for constructor, it should be always the same name as the class name, and it cannot have a return type. So for the method, what you need to do it here, you need to create the object or instance, and then with the help of the object difference you need to call it. Then only your method will be executed. But for the constructor, as and when you are creating the object or instance, immediately your constructor will be called. That is the beauty of the constructor. Then how can I write the constructor? So it will be always the same name as the class name and without any return type. So what I can do it, I can create a constructor here. So I need to give the access modifier public and then the same name as the class name, and here I can give some body, say test constructor. Okay, now you could see I have defined the constructor session 4. Now as and when I will be creating the object or instance, immediately constructor will be called. Right, now let's try to run it. So no need to call it. That is the beauty of the constructor. So sometime definitely I don't want to call it another way. I will be creating the object instance, automatically one constructor will be called. In case you are creating 2 instance, automatically 2 constructor will be called. Object 1. Now you could see the constructor will be another constructor will be called. And constructor also can be overloaded. Right? Constructor can be overloaded means constructor same class name will be there, but it will different parameter or different argument. So what I will be doing it, you could see error message will come, but here in case I am changing the argument, suppose say integer maybe m, I want to pass it, and here also I want to add it. I can give something and then I can concatenate with the here, sorry, with that one. Okay, sorry, integer m. Now you could see that is created with the help of that variable. So now I can create a new object instance here. I can create that constructor object 2, and here I can pass some variable because that is the constructor type, right? Say 250. Now if you execute it, it will not throwing any error and it will give you the desired result. You could see now as and when you are passing the argument, that relevant constructor is getting called. So now constructor can be overloaded, means similar constructor can be there, but definitely your number of argument, that part you need to change it. Okay, tomorrow I can create one more constructor here, right? Same way I can change the data type, double. Maybe I can give it called n variable, but you can give it m, that not be a problem, but for your simplicity I am changing the variable name. Now in case you want to call it, right, you can give any double value here, so the double will be called. So 500.7 anything, right? This is double. So your object 3 name you need to change it. Now you could see I am not calling them separately, I am creating the object condition, automatically the relevant constructor is getting called. So that is the beauty of the constructor. So constructor is a block of code similar to method, but it is called when an instance of the object is created and memory is allocated for the object. The purpose of the constructor is to initialize the object of a class, while the purpose of a method is to perform a task by executing Java code. In other words, constructor provides memory to an object. Without initializing an object, we cannot use its property. A constructor eliminates placing the default value. Every time an object is created using new keyword, at least one constructor will be called. That is called default constructor. Constructor can be overloaded but cannot be overridden. So that part will be understood in the upcoming session, because overloading and overriding is a concept of the Java polymorphism, which is the as part of the OPS concept or object oriented programming structure. Constructor of a class must have the same name of the class in which it resides. It cannot have any other name. Always should be the class name. A constructor in Java cannot be abstract, final, or static. A constructor cannot have any return type. Java compiler distinguishes between a method and a constructor by its name and return type. In Java, constructor will be the same name as that of the class and without return type. In case you are giving a return type, so it will not treat it as a constructor. Suppose in case you are giving as a void, it will not be called as a constructor. And you could see here the error message is coming, right? So you need to either change it to constructor or need to remove everything. So you need to just remove it, the return type. It cannot be public static also, right? You can see it always there, right? The constructor cannot be static, abstract, or final. Okay, so that is the way you can deal with the constructor and the method. So for the method, it can have same name as the class name sometime, but it can have some return type, but constructor cannot have return type. So method and constructor can be overloaded either by the changing of the argument or the number of the argument or changing the data of the argument. For the method, you need to create the object or instance, then you need to call them and you need to pass the argument value based on the argument type. For the constructor, as and when you will be creating the object, every time your constructor will be called. So that is the basic difference between the method and constructor. I will take a pause, guys. Any questions, I will take it forward before moving to the next topics. You can say yes or no. Silent will not good always. Anyone, any doubt, any questions, concern? Okay, okay, cool. Okay, then you could see here example I have tried to given the constructor. In case you are giving a return type, that will not be considered as a constructor. Then the wrapper class. So as of now, you already learned about the data type like integer, double, float, boolean, character. These are called data type, primitive data type, and non-primitive is nothing but the string, class, all this stuff. So wrapper class is a class whose object wraps or contain primitive data type. So wrapper class is used to convert any data type into object, but the problem is that whatever primitive data type we are using, those are not belong to any class. So those are not object, they are just simply primitive data type. So wrapper class are used to convert any data type into object. The primitive data type are not object, they do not belong to any class, they are just defined in the language itself, but sometimes it is required to convert data type into object in Java language. So primarily, in case you want to deal with the collection framework, so collection framework will only understand the class and object, but they will not understand about the data type, then how will be using the collection framework? So there is a mechanism available called wrapper class, through which you can convert those primitive data type into the relevant wrapper class object. So wrapper class provides a mechanism to wrap primitive values into a object, so that primitive can do activities reserved for the object, being like array list, hash set, array linked list, hash map, tree map, etc. There are 8 classes of java.lang package are known as wrapper class in Java. So for everything there will be wrapper class. For integer it will be integer, character it will be character, byte, byte, boolean, boolean, like that. Okay. Now say define something as a for the data type initially, and then how can you convert it to wrapper class? Say integer I equal to 30. So if I want to print it out, so you can definitely get the value, but this is not belong to any object, any class, that integer data type. So if you execute it, it will definitely give the value as 30, but this is not an object, you cannot use it most of the time as an object. So it should belong to some wrapper class, so that with the help of that object of the particular class you can do it. So for integer, the relevant wrapper class will be integer. So what I'll be doing it, integer, I can give say int object equal to new integer. That is the wrapper class integer, and that is the object now. And here I can pass the variable I. So now that data type I am converting into the wrapper class object with the help of the relevant wrapper class particular to integer. Then now I can print it out. So it will give me same value, but now it is become an object. Integer I become converted to object. So that is the way you can deal with that, right, relevant wrapper class, and you can convert the data type to the relevant wrapper class object. Now you could see this coming as same way. So similar way, if you want to go with suppose say double, say d variable, suppose say anything like 308.89. okay, so you can print it out, and here you can call the wrapper class called double for the double here, and you can just use the double, and maybe integer object instead of that you can create some called double object, and you can print it out here. And also you need to provide the reference here. Now it is converted to the object of the double class, which is double object. So it will give the same value, but that is now converted to object, and that object you can use mostly in the collection framework, wherever you cannot use the normal data type. So that is the one of the advantage of wrapper class. Apart from that, there is another advantage available in the wrapper class. I'll show you. So there are a couple of some methods available in the wrapper class, through which you can get lot of importance, right. You can change some of the important thing. Say suppose say I am defining something called string, say str equal to say 200 or 2000. So 200, that's fine. 200, and if you use concatenation operation, so what will happen? Now let's comment out this part for now. So string, there is a string, but in case it's string we need to give it double quote, but the value is only integer 200. But now if I want to use the plus sign, so what operation it will do? It will display you 200, and then 100 will be added here, which will be concatenation for the string, but that summation operation will not happen because the type is string, though your value is there only integer. So you could see, but in case sometimes string contains an integer value, double value, or float value, and I want to convert that into that part, after that I want to perform the summation or the subtraction, all these operation. So what I need to do, I need to take help from the wrapper class, then only I can do the relevant summation operation instead of the concatenation operation. So what I will do it, I will call that integer class, wrapper class, then if we press dot, okay, integer dot, you could see some of the method will come called parse int, right, and here you can provide the string reference. Return type is integer, so now I can store in some integer, say integer, say base int, that is the variable name I can give it. Now if you want to perform the operation with the help of the new integer, so it is converting to integer from the string, and then it will be giving you a result called 300 with the new variable. So that is the way. In case any kind of double float is available, you need to call the relevant wrapper class and the relevant method. For double, it will be double dot parse double, right? Similar way, a lot of things is there. You could see here now 300. Okay. So now let's go with the double also, and let's see how it is behaving. So I can something called string one, and I can go with double. Okay. So it will just append it 267.100. 6700 will be added here. So here I can go with that one, and I can change it here. I can change it to string one, and here I need to call that double, and here the method name will be also changed. It will be parse double, right? You could see here. Okay. Okay, here you need to change the double, because now it is coming as a double, so you can see error message gone. So now it will be like 200 plus 100 means 367. Now if you execute it, so that is the way. In case any string is having that particular float or integer or value, in case you want to operate, you could see here as similar way it will coming, right? Initially it was 100 by 100, but now it is 300 plus 200 plus 100 equal to, that is the way it's coming, 67, close to that. So that is the way, right? You can deal with the wrapper class which is available in the Java. So until primarily, in case you want to execute, right, you want to deal with the collection framework. So collection framework does not understand about the data type, because they're simply data type and they does not belong to any class. So what you need to do, we need to take help from the wrapper class, because for every data type there is a corresponding wrapper class, and we can convert that data type to wrapper class object, so that is the object can be considered as the object from the wrapper class, and that object we can deal with the collection framework. And for each and every wrapper class there are a couple of methods available, and we can use them as and when required, primarily in case you are having some string, but this is only having some float or decimal or the integer value or the byte value, right? You can, you want to operate it based on the data type, then you need to convert it with the help of that method called parse double, parse int, all this stuff, and then after that you can do the numeric operation instead of the concatenation operation. I will take a pause, guys. Is all good? Any questions? Anyone? Okay. Yeah. Then there are date and calendar functions class available, under which there are a lot of methods available. So how can you deal with the date or calendar or hour, minute, second, all this stuff, right? Let's see. Let's comment out this code for now. So I'll be first creating an object or instance for the calendar class. So that is the object I am creating, equal to. So this is not like the new calendar. So there is some sort of difference will be there sometimes. Okay, calendar dot get instance, through which I can create a object for instance for the calendar class. Now you could see is already imported from the Java package, right? Util.calendar, otherwise it will throw the error. Then now if I want to print out the current date, so with the help of that object or the variable, I can get time. There's a method called get time. Okay. Now if you execute it, you could able to get the time in the some format. You could see Sunday, April 9, 1747, 13 second, IST 2023. So that is the way you can get it, right? But say I don't want to get the whole part, right? So I can go with some of the other part. So what I can do, I can use calendar, and then there are a couple of methods available. Dot get method available, get here, and you can give that argument, say calendar dot year, right? So you only you will get the year. Similar way you can get the date. Similar way you can press dot, you can get the other, right? Date, day of the week, and you can go with other whatever is available. AM or PM. Okay, let's see. You could see 2023 here. This is the date is 9th, and day of week means it will be 1 to 7. So Sunday will be considered as the first day, Monday will be second day, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, like that way it will go. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Saturday will be 7th there. Okay, and that particular thing, right? You could see that is the year is 2020. So that is the way you can deal with that. Okay. Maybe instead of PM, so you can get that particular functionality what is all about, right? If you press the cursor here, you could able to see what it will display. Year already, week of the year also you can get it. Let's see what is the week of the year, right? The first week is January first week, you could see 15, right? So January there is 4 week close to that. February, March it's already completed 14 week, and this is the 15 week of the April starting from the January. So 1 to 7 is the January first week, then 8 to 17, 8 to 14 is the January second week of the year. So that is the way you can say it is the 15th week of the year starting from January 1st. Okay. Now that is the way you can get the desired part. Now say in case you want to change the calendar date sometime, right? So I need to change the calendar date. Maybe I want to add it for 2 years, and then I want to see what are the date will be there, what are the time will be there, all this stuff, right? So what I can do, I can set the date also, calendar dot set. You could see here. So that part you can say either the date, month, time, or you can go with the minute, hour as well. So I will set the hour, year, month, and date. So first is the year, then month, and then date. So suppose say I want to go to 2025, and then month you need to give, it will be 0 to 11. So say I want to give something called 9. So it will be 9 will be October, 10th will be November, and 11th will be December. It will be starting with 0, and day I can give it anything, say 28. Then after that, if you want to print the time here, you could able to see here, it will change to 2025 and 28th October, and time will be still same, hour, minutes same, and all this stuff will still same, because I want to update the calendar here, right? You could see Tuesday October 28, time will still same, date will get changed, IST and year is getting changed to 2025. So that is the way you can deal with that set part. Now instead of set, you want to increase only suppose a date or year, or maybe the month sometime. Okay, so how can you do it? You can use cal dot add, and you can see the integer is the field and second one is the amount. So what is the field? I want to change the calendar year, so that is the thing you can give it here as the first argument, and then here you can give the value. Suppose say I want to change the calendar year increase by 4 years. So what will happen? It will be 2017, 27. You could see 2027. Friday, day will be still same, month will be still same, but I want to change the year only. In case you want to decrease the year by 3 years, so it will be -3, but same format only. So now it will be 20, instead of 2023 it will be 2020. You could see 2020, and correspondingly your calendar day will get changed, but your date and time will still same. So that is the way you can deal with that, right? Date and calendar, particular calendar class. Then there is a date class available also in the Java. With the help of the date class, you can do similar kind of operation. Let's comment it out and let's see how we can deal with the date also. So there is a date class date. I can create an object called dt equal to new date. and I need to import the date class from the Java, because that is only available in the java.util package. Do not select java.sql, it should select always java.util. Then I want to print out the dt, and I can convert it to string. Dot to string. Now if you want to execute, similar way you will able to get the desired date of the current system. You could see Sunday, April 19, 7:53:09 p.m. or 17 part and IST and 2023. Now you want to print that date in specific format, or whatever is really required to your customer, your organization. You cannot print similar anyway, or system suggested way, right? Whatever you want to do, right? You can also do it. Suppose say you need to give the format in some string variable. So string, the format is my variable, and I want to give some format. So our first I want to print out, then then second, and I also want to get the AM or PM, and then I want to print out DD, instead of all the YY. I want to print only the last two Y, 2023 instead of 2020. That is my format requirement. So you can give it the format. Then there is a class available called simple date format. Simple, I can create an object here, simple date format SDF equal to new simple date format, where I need to pass the reference of the format, which format I want to get it, or you can directly give it also here in case you don't want to store in some variable. Now I need to import the simple date format from the java.txt package. Then what I need to do, I will be printing it out. Here I will be printing it out. I will be taking first that SDF variable which is created for the simple date format class. Then there is a method available called format dot format, you could see, and here you need to provide the date object whatever you created. Now it will be formatted based on a requirement here. This way it will be formatted. So you can change it based on a requirement. You could see now hour, minute, second. Now it is not 19, but I am changing to converting to PM, AM format. Right now it is PM. That is the reason it is 7 PM, and this is my day 9. Okay, and this is my month here. This is the year. Okay. Okay. So it will be not, the month is not the correct format. So it need to give it triple M to get the month. So that is the reason it is coming as 955. Is not the correct format. A triple M is the correct format. You could see now it is coming as April. So that is the way. Now tomorrow, in case you want to go with first, and then you want to go all the YY, and then here DD. So whatever is requirement you can do it, change it, and then if you execute it, it will be printed out correspondingly or accordingly. You could see now April is coming first, then 2023 complete year, and then your day is 9. So that is the way, right? There are a lot of important methods available in the date class and the collection calendar class. So whatever, right, calendar you want to operate, right, you want to change the date, you want to update your calendar, you need to write hours, add some hours, or right, move back to the calendar to previous date, right, future date, anything you can do it, and you can change the formatting. So sometimes we need to take the screenshot, right? So we need to take some format. That is the thing here. It will be taking the importance role all this part. Any questions? I will take a pause, guys. Okay. Because whenever you will be really creating some framework from the scratch in the detail level, maybe these are the important Java concept will be required. That is the reason I have tried to cover in this 4 Java session. Okay, couple of things will be always right now in the upcoming session you will finding it that these are the thing will be really important, and couple of stuff in the advanced framework only that might be used. But in case you want to really spend some time, quality time in the automation, definitely most of the thing whatever will be covered, all you will be utilizing in the upcoming in your future whenever you will be developing your automation framework. So once your concept is clear, then you can definitely right, easily understand those part. So Java exceptions. So what is exceptions? So I am giving a simple example of arithmetic exceptions. So in case you want to divide something by 0, right, I want to divide 5 by 0. So what will happen? It will display me the result call, right, not the correct result, because 5 divided by 0 is not a valid scenario. So this kind of scenario might be there, somebody done by mistake, right, or maybe they intentionally. So what will happen? It will throw the error, and in case any kind of exception happen, so problem is that as and when exception will be occurred, your remaining line of code will not be executed. It will be stopped the execution that time, that point. So that is the problem. So in case you are having 1000 line of code and exception is triggered at 100 line of code, so 99 line till will be executed fine, and from the 100 line till that 1000 line remaining code will be not be executed until you are handling the exception. So exception or exceptional event is a problem that arises during the execution of the program. When an exception occurs, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and the program or application terminates abnormally, which is not recommended. Therefore, these exceptions are to be handled. An exception can occur for many different reasons. So suppose say in case user have given some invalid data, so it should take the in numeric, but you have given decimal. So file you want to interact, that is already open. So how can you add the data in the file in case it is already open? A network connection has been lost. Suppose you want to execute something but your internet connection lost or interrupted. These are the different kind of scenario might be happen. So in Java there are primarily three kind of exceptions available. One is checked, one is unchecked, one is error. Checked means in case you compile your code, means after running, in case you want to save your code, these are the exception will be coming. Okay. Unchecked, whenever you are saving code it will not come, but whenever you will running your code, only that will become. That is called unchecked exception or runtime exception. Or checked means the compile time exception. An error, sometimes some error might be coming based on some error. Suppose say you want to like download a 2 MB file, but you do not have any space. You want to maybe you want to do some assertion, but that is the other problem is there. So that is the kind of stuff error might come, and error is not recoverable. So there are 5 keywords available to handle the exception: try, catch, finally, throw, and throws. Okay, I will discuss here one by one. Okay, couple of things like try, catch, and finally block will be discussed in today's session. So Java defines several types of exceptions that relate to various class library. Java also allow user define their own exception. So built-in exception are the exceptions which are available in Java libraries. These exceptions are suitable to explain certain error situation. The below few of the important exceptions I have tried to list it out. Arithmetic exception, in case you want to do some unexceptional, right, arithmetic operation, that will be throwing that error. Array index out of bound exception, you already seen the last session, right? In case your array is, suppose say size is 5, but you want to access something called negative or maybe greater than 5, then it will throw that error. Class not found, initially class was there and you can access it, but then sometimes you have changed the name of the class, then it will throw the class not found exception. File not found, similar way, file path you got changed, file name you got changed, or the file remove it, so file not found exception. IO exception, sometimes it will be there in case you want to do some input or output operation. Interruptive exception, primarily for the thread, right? Suppose say in case you want to access the thread which is an ideal situation, right, which is doing some rest or ideal, in case you want to access that thread, so it will showing that interruptive exception. No such field exception, in case you want to identify a field with the help of the element locator, but sometime the element locator value got changed or attribute got changed, so it will be coming as no such field exception. No such method exception, suppose initially you have written a method but that method body got changed or method removed from the program, it will throw the no such method exception. Null pointer exception, suppose say you have already defined a kind of string called null, so there is no length at all, but in case you want to get the length, but null string will not having any length, nobody can say what is the length, it will be throwing the null pointer exception. Number format exception, suppose say in case the it is a string is there, but it is a decimal format. But how you can convert it to the numeric integer format is not possible. Only decimal part you can convert it. Similarly, float you can only convert it to float, not the integer. So that is the way. In case you forcefully want to do it, it will throw the number format exception. Runtime exceptions. This represent any exception which occurs during runtime. Sometimes some specific problem might come. It will throw the runtime exception. String index out of bound exception. So in case string, right, you already want to access it, right, either which is negative size or the which size is not there at all. So it will throw that string index out of bound exception for the string, and array index out of bound for the array. String index out of bound you already seen, right? I have a string for four character, right? Say Java, but I want to access this element from the 6th position, so it will throw the string index out of bound. And then how can you handle the exceptions? Primarily I'll be handling the exceptions with the help of try catch block, or there is a finally keyword sometimes there. So try block contains set of statement where an exception can occur. A try block is always followed by a catch block which handle the exception that occurred in associated with the try block. A try block must be followed by catch block or finally block or both. A single try block can have any number of catch block. In case no exception is occurred, then try catch block will be completely ignored. But finally block, it will be always executed. So finally block contains all the crucial statement that must be executed whether exception occurs or not. A finally block must be associated with the try block. You cannot use finally block without try block. So you should place those statements in this block and must be executed always. In normal case, whenever there is no exception in the try block, but finally block will still be executed though your try catch block is completely ignored. So try block can be used with finally block before catch also. So now let's see how the exception will come and how we can handle the exception so that your remaining code will be executed. Okay, so let's try to add some line called code Java code before any exception triggered. Okay, then I can print out something called Java code after any exception triggered. Now if you simply want to execute it, it will not be having any problem. All the line of code is coming. But here I want to do some operation called integer a equal to say 20 divided by 0. So it will be having the exception because this will trigger the arithmetic exception because you cannot divide something by 0, right? Now what will happen? You could see that code is executed. That is the reason I told. In case you are having 1000 line of code, an exception occur at 100 line, first 99 will not be a problem, but the problem will be starting from the 100 line and remaining code will not be executed. That is the reason as and when exception is triggered, that next code is not executed and you are getting the exception at the line number 39. You could see session 4 is the class name, Java exception 39 number. What is the exception name? Java.lang.arithmetic exception by 0. That is the exception is coming. Then now how can you handle the exception? You need to surround with the try catch block. So you can select the code and you can go with source and there is an option called surround with and you can deal with try catch block. So automatically try catch block will be added. Now you could see if you execute your code, exception will be handled and it will be triggered and remaining line of code will be executed. So that is the default way you can surround with try catch block. Okay, but now I want to do it manually. Then how can I do it? What is the syntax for the try catch block? So you could see try, then statement. What is the exception name? You can copy it. You can click here and you can copy the exception name, arithmetic exception, because that is the exception I want to handle. So try. Okay, then that part, and here you can give called catch and Here you need to keep the exception name, and you can create a variable called exception e. Then you can print it out. So that is the better way to deal with the exception manually. Now if you execute your code, you could see some better thing, right? You could see that is the only coming by 0. In case you do not somehow know that exception name, you can give it generic, so it will handle all the exception, which is generic exception. Now it will still handle. So you can give the exact exception name, or you can give it exception, which will handle all kind of exception. Instead of arithmetic, instead of null pointer, any kind of exception it will handle. Now, along with try catch block, I use something called finally block. Okay, I can print it out here. So code for finally block. So now you could see what happened. The exception will be handled, it will be relevant error will be there, and you can see always getting the finally block code also. So finally block always would be after the try catch block. Now see what happened in case exception is not occurred. So I am giving something called 20 divided by 2. See, there will be no exception. It is a valid statement. 20 divided by 2, it will give you result as 10. It is not a valid statement. So your try catch block will be completely ignored, but finally block will still be executed. So if you execute your code, you could see there is no try catch exception because it is working fine, but still finally block is executed. So what is the importance on the finally block? Suppose say you want to validate a particular scenario called like say you want to verify your page title of the page. Suppose say your feed should come as a Facebook, but it is coming as like Facebook other Facebook one or something like that. So it is not matching. But though it is not matching, at the end of your test cases, you want to close the browser. So that code you can write it here. Okay, so exception coming or not coming, that does not matter. Exception is coming, your code is working, it is passing, still you need to close your browser. In case test case is failing, still you need to close your browser. So that part can be executed or not, that does not have any problem, but I know, always I want to close my browser. So that is the relevant part. You can associate always with the finally block, so that always it does not matter whether the exception is coming or not, but still finally block will be always executed. Okay, so that is the way you can deal with the try catch block. Now I will show you another scenario here. Similar way, suppose say in case you define something called integer array a, saying array equal to new integer, the size might be 3 or 4, right? So it will contain 0 1 2 3, that is the element. Now what I want to do, I want to add some element which is more than that index. So I want to add a a6, which definitely is out of the bound, right? 30. So what happen if you execute your code, that part I can cut it here. So after the exception is occurred, remaining line of code will not be executed, and you could get the array error exception. You could say here exception in the main thread. What is the exception? Array index of bound, because index 6 of out of bound of the length 4. Then how can you handle the exception? Similar way I will be going with try, and here it will be within that one. Then here catch, and then you can give the exact name of the exception. You can click it here, you can give it here. E variable again. Then you can print it out, and you can also use the finally block. Now you could see exception will be handled, remaining line of code will be executed. Okay, right, previous code, next code also executed. Here same error is coming, right, exception is coming here, and the array index of bound and final block is already executed. Now in case there is no exception is coming with the try catch block, so in case you want to update something at the second index, so it will be valid scenario. So your try catch block will be completely ignored, but still your final block will be always executed, and you can definitely get the desired result for all the part. So that is the way you can handle the exception with the help of the try catch and the finally block. I will recapture one more, then you can have any question. So in Java, there are conditional statement available through which I can write, check, or insert the verification point or the error handling. There are 5 types: if else, nested if else if ladder, and the switch statement. So if only conditional match, it will be executed, else in case condition is false will be executed, and in case you want to deal with if else, within the if else you can go with the nested if else part, and in case you are going to deal with the multiple conditions, so you can go with if else if or else if ladder. Switch statement is similar to the if else if statement, but in case it's a more and more condition is there, you can go with the switch statement. Each and every condition in the switch will be called as a case. Case should be always unique in nature. Every case should end with the body as well as the break statement, so that as certain condition is matching, it will terminate that switch part, and remaining thing will not be executed. Switch can be deal with the different data type called character, short, long, integer. In the Java method, there are a lot of methods available: inbuilt method or the user defined method. Inbuilt, like you already seen about the date class, calendar, and the string. Okay, and the user defined method, you can go with some sort of without return type and with return type. So you can create the multiple method can be overloaded as well. So in case you are creating a non-static method, you need to create an object or instance. After that, you need to call the method with the relevant argument. And constructor is nothing but the similar type of method, but it cannot have the body, and always name should be always the class name. Constructor can also be overloaded, and as and when you are creating the object or instance, immediately constructor will be called. But for the method, you need to first create the object or instance, then you need to call the method. Wrapper class, because the data type, right, integer, all the data type like character, because they are data type simply, but they do not belong to any class. So in case you want to deal with the collection framework, right, they will not able to understand this data type, so you need to convert to the relevant classes. After that, with the help of their object, you can interact with the collection framework. Apart from that, this relevant wrapper class, right, 8 data type, 8 wrapper class available in Java. There are a lot of important methods is available, you can deal with that for your requirement. There are a lot of functions or methods available in the date and calendar class. You can get your desired calendar date, you can change the calendar date, month, year, right. You can also get your kind of date printed in the specific format with the help of the simple date format class available in Java. There are a lot of exceptions might come in the Java. It's checked during compile time, you can get it, during runtime you can get it, sometime error might come. It can be handled with different keywords called in the Java, like try catch block or the finally keyword. So try catch block in case some error is coming, right, in case you are not handling the exceptions. So what happened, remaining line of code will not be executed. So always required to handle any kind of exception coming, so the exception will be caught and it will be handled, and remaining line of code will be also executed. In a single scenario, there can be multiple exception might be coming, because in a particular scenario might have 100 line of code, and there can be couple of scenario exception might come. So exception can be handled with the try catch block. But in case you are using try catch block but no exception is coming, right, it will all right, ignore the try catch block. And along with try catch block, finally block can be used, so that always you want to execute the finally block. It does not matter whether exception is coming or not. So in exception is not coming, Java try catch block will be ignored, but your finally block will be always executed. So that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.